Welcome to another edition of Coach's Corner. My name is Anthony DePaulo, joined by Craig Doremus. Craig, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having us. Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year to all of our Titans fans. And before we talk about the new year, let's talk about how you guys closed out 2019 with 2 wins against the Jamestown Rebels.
Yeah, obviously for us, you want to go into that long extended holiday break with a good taste in your mouth, as they say. And we made sure we addressed it with our guys. Obviously, leading into that weekend, I don't think we were playing particularly well. We had split a number of weekends, and I thought our play had fallen back. Now, I know there's a human element to it, and our players have done a really good job, so you almost, quote-unquote, expect a little bit of a letdown. We wanted to make sure we refocused and headed into that break the right way. I thought our guys played 2 really good road junior hockey games. I think people right now are getting caught up with Jamestown records, but I don't think it reflects who or what they are as a hockey team. It's a tough team to play against. Obviously, Joe and his staff have done a good job and had a lot of success in the past. And Jamestown's not an easy trip from a travel standpoint, and just quite frankly, the aura around the building and the program. They do a good job. So for our players, I thought it was another positive step forward for them going out there and getting 2 wins on the road instead of looking ahead and looking past to the holiday break. So really good way to go into it, and more importantly, to come out of it now. Hopefully have the ball rolling here as we approach the next 30 part of the season here. And I think for us, it was just really, really important for us to have a good ending of the first half because the guys had accomplished so much.
Now, let's talk about each game a little bit more in detail. In the first game, they won by a score of 5-2. Michael Outson picked up 2 goals. Chris Garbe picked up a goal and assist. So what did you think about the offensive effort in that game?
Well, I mean, for us, the number 5 has been pretty important, right? If you look back on our goals for and divided by games played, we've tried to be around that 5 number throughout. I think it gives you a pretty good chance to win hockey games. Does it always work out like that? No, but I think it gives you a fighting chance at least. So offense is something that's important to our team. We don't play haphazardly to do it, but we want to make sure that we are on the attack. And I think it's more about a mentality than anything else. You want to be on the attack rather than defending and whatnot. So obviously for us, it's important to get to that number, and again, comes through with a win. So it gets us back on track as far as where we want to be analytically as well.
The second game, which was not on Hockey TV due to some technical difficulties, so you're going to have to really kind of paint the picture for our viewers. But the team gave up 2 goals in the first period, and you stormed back with 4 goals in the second period. Do you want to talk about that middle frame in that second game against Jamestown?
Yeah, I think it goes back to a little bit earlier in the year, and I had said it, probably in September, October part of the schedule. There's been some games where we haven't had great starts, and we've been behind, but I think because of the pulse of our team and where we are from a maturity standpoint, it's never too high, we're never too low. Kind of just stay focused on the task at hand and winning the next shift. And I think having that, and obviously been through it earlier in the year on the road, allowed us to just hit the reset button, as they say, and get back to work, and obviously enforce our will there in the second period. And it's kind of been, that's happened to us a couple times this year. And I don't think we played poorly to start. I thought Jamestown had a good response. They came out and pushed back hard on us, got 2 good goals, and for us, just the response was good on the bench. Guys settled in. We didn't get panicked in the approach or get away from our system. We just stuck with it. We believe in what we do here, and we believe over the course of 60 minutes, if we play a hockey game, we're going to be okay more often than not. So credit to the guys again coming through with some maturity there and really stepping up and getting a huge win there after a big second period.
In that second game, Connor Pelk made his debut with the Titans. He is the youngest player to ever suit up for the Titans in all team at 16 years, 7 months, and 23 days. The previous honor went to Arseny Sergeyev, and before that, Jake LaRusso. But you have Connor Pelk, who played for Rock City under Matt Dibble, and he's an affiliate player, recently signed a tender agreement. What did you think about his game?
I thought Connor played really well. I don't think it's easy to step into that environment as a young man. You come into not only a junior hockey game, but you're playing with a team that's obviously doing pretty well that are on the road. And I thought Connor came in and assimilated himself very well, had a good week of practice with us. We were able to get him in the lineup there close to his hometown, like you had mentioned, from being from Buffalo area, playing with the Sabres. And I thought Connor played really well. He played an honest junior hockey game, kept it simple. I think he was rewarded for some points for his efforts as well. He did a really good job creating opportunities for his line mates. He played with Matty Iacette and Chris Garbe that night. I thought the line was excellent. I thought they probably could have even a couple more goals. Just the goaltending played well for Jamestown. But Connor played really simple. I think he finished the day as a +3. And he's a talented young man. Listen, we're excited to add him to the fold for the future of what we're going to do here in New Jersey. He's committed to Providence College, so I think that speaks a little bit to his hockey background and where we see him going in the future as well. It's one of the premier programs in the country, so we're excited for it. I think Connor has a bright future both at the junior and collegiate level, and I think honestly for him, he has the ability to make some money playing the sport as a pro as well. So we're excited to have players like that to the program, and I think for us, Obviously, everyone knows where we're at 20-year-old wise right now. It's a veteran-laden team, and next year, everyone throws around that rebuild phrase that really doesn't come into the building in New Jersey too often. We're going to reload and be ready to go back at it again next year. That's why we have what I believe is the best scouting department in the league, and I think we take a lot of pride in that. And it's no coincidence where we are now. It's only a matter of time we're there again.
We're going to take a quick break here on Coach's Corner. When we come back, we'll have our special guest for this week's edition with Chris Garbe.
Cade Penny is there. Back behind to Macklin. Up top to Garbe. Risser, he scores! What a shot by Chris Garbe. He goes top shelf and gets his second of the game.
Welcome back to Coach's Corner. We are joined by our guest, Chris Garbe. Chris, welcome to Coach's Corner.
Thank you, Ed.
Now, Chris, you were one of the longest tenured players on the Titans. You were an affiliate player back in the 2016-2017 season. Do you want to go back and recall your first few games with the team?
Yeah, absolutely. So my first game was a call-up. It was during my Selects Academy years. Craig called my dad, actually, and my dad informed me. We drove up that day, and it ended up being a great game. We won. I actually scored that game, and from then on, it was kind of just a time from there, you know?
What were your thoughts when you first got acclimated to the NOL level?
So at first it was a big jump. My first game especially, it was a lot more fast-paced, but the guys, there was a great group of guys that year, and they really put me under their wing and just guided me and just kept me going. So I try to do that now to the younger guys.
You've been playing since then, and now you've had a pretty good season. You've committed to Middlebury. Do you want to talk about how you've developed over the years with the team and gotten to the point to where you are now?
Yeah, absolutely. So I feel like I've really developed as a player, and along with that, you can just see it. Our whole team, everyone just keeps developing. Especially this year, we have a great skills coach who's really who's really done a lot for us. Arc skating and shooting and everything. We have Craig and Bobby who were out there after practice, always helping us out. Always with orange pucks or whatever it may be, we just keep getting better, and I believe that's why we've had such a strong year this year.
You train with the orange pucks. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, you can't hit the glass because it'll break, but definitely great training, and I love doing that. I do it in the summer, and it's really awesome to be able to do it on the ice because you don't really have that ability to do that in the summer because orange pucks are kind of just not the norm, obviously.
Those are heavier, right?
Yeah, definitely heavier.
So that explains why you have such a good snapshot.
I don't know about that, but it definitely explains why we've probably been putting more pucks in the net this year.
But you want to talk a little bit about this year's team. It's very, very heavy group in terms of veteran players, a lot of 99s. So you've had time to really mesh well with the players. How special is it to start 2020 with a record of 24-5-1?
Well, I just think it's incredible. I mean, Craig said it himself, it's the first in history for our team, so that's really exciting, and we're looking ahead. We're looking forward to keeping it up and just keep going, and we want to make sure we keep our head to the ground and keep grinding.
And also, I want to go back to your commitment to Middlebury. It happened very late to 2019, and the next couple of games you started getting more points too. So, do you think it took a bit of a weight off your shoulders when you got the commitment?
Yeah, I definitely believe so. I try not to let it affect me at all, though, and I just, like I said, I just try to go out there each and every game and just do what I know I can do and just do what the team needs most.
And then you have a big weekend coming up against the Maine Nordiques. This will be your first time going up to Maine.
Yeah, exactly. We're really excited. It'll be cold up there, but we're looking forward to playing them at their home barn and getting 2 W's on the road. So.
Well, Chris, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Aaron.
Welcome back to Coach's Corner. I'm Anthony DePaula, along with Craig Doremus. And Craig, we just had Chris Garbe on, but how do you see his commitment to Middlebury College and what it means for both him and the team?
Wow. I don't think the segment's even long enough right now to give you a full scope on how I feel about Chris. He's important to our program. Obviously, he wears a letter, but it's so much deeper than that in terms of who he is as a player, more importantly, who he is as a person, and the impact he's had on the program here since day one when he entered it. So I think for Chris, I couldn't be more happy and proud of him. He's such a mature young kid, and he's so confident in his own skin and who he is. I think that's what allows him to make a commitment here prior to the holidays, where you see so many kids who wait out the process. Chris is comfortable with who and what he is as a player and as a person. I think Middlebury's getting a phenomenal hockey player, probably a Division I kid, to be honest with you. But they're getting an even better person, and I think obviously he's going to go there and enhance that program, both in the dressing room and in the community, and it'll be an asset to their student body. And then for Chris, he's going to be so successful in whatever walk of life he chooses once he graduates from there, and obviously having the Middlebury background and education is only going to help propel him even more. So he's just such a special young kid, and he's going to do so well in life. So for us, it's enjoying what we have him right now. He's a critical part of our success on a day-to-day basis and our culture, more importantly. And obviously, as you look towards next year, which unfortunately in this business we have to do a lot, he's going to be one of those kids who you probably search for the replacement, and it may not be that easy to find because of who he is as a person, the character, integrity he's about. I think production is almost easier to find in some of those qualities today. But make no mistake about it, he's going to leave a legacy here for many years to come, and he's going to be a guy we speak about with many future teams.
Yeah, 6 points in his last 4 games, and that will transfer hopefully to this weekend, where the Titans will go up to Maine to play against the Nordiques. The Titans are 4-0 against the Nordiques, but all 4 games were played here in Middletown. The Titans will go up to Androscoggin Bank Coliseum for the very first time. So Craig, what is your mindset going up to a new venue for the first time?
I think the first thing that comes to your mind is the excitement that goes into it. You can see the players this week start to talk about it, the coaches spoke about it. Some of the staff here has experience in there, as obviously they've hosted some other junior hockey franchises there, so everyone kind of knows about it. I think what I really appreciate for the players part of it is the excitement of going to a bigger arena. It gives you like a pro feel almost, so for them they're excited to get into that environment and try new venues and places. We've all watched games, we've done now scouting and stuff, so you see kind of what you can be in for there. But the guys are excited. As much as the road, quote unquote, stinks with the travel and being on a bus, I think the guys and the staff like it a little bit. You get to be away from everything else, every little distraction in life, and kind of just focus on each other and having some fun, and obviously going up there and doing your job on the ice. But it's a good way to get the second half started here, being on the road together in a hotel room and kind of going to work, just worrying about hockey for a couple days. So it's fun, we're excited. It's another opportunity for us, and we're excited to go up there. Maine's done a good job this year, and we know we're going to have our hard hats on if we're going to go and get wins up there.
You want to talk about how Maine has improved between now and the last time you guys played them?
Yeah, listen, I've said it from day one with their program. I think the staff up there has done a really good job. I think they play an exciting brand of hockey. Their speed is noticeable. I think you have to be aware of it and ready for it. They've gotten timely goaltending this year as well. By no means do they look like an expansion franchise. Those guys know what they're doing. The players have responded really well. And I think for us, just like our division, I say it every day, if you're not prepared and you don't play well, you don't play hard, you're going to lose. Those guys have done really well. They've made the division even better. They're a great complement to the other programs we have here. And we know, no different than any other opponent, whether they play in the first, second, fourth, or seventh place team, you're going to have to make sure you're ready to go, or else you're going to be exposed.
There's no such thing as an easy game. And those games will take place on Friday and Saturday, both at 7 p.m. at Androscoggin Bank Coliseum. And the games will be available for streaming on Hockey TV. Also, the next home game will be next Wednesday on January 15th against the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Knights. Half price hump day, all tickets will be half price. So this has been another edition of Coach's Corner, joined by Craig Doremus. I'm Anthony DiPaolo. Craig, thank you for your time.
Thank you, I appreciate it.